There is this new agreement that they have come up with the IRS. They want the IRS to share tax data of undocumented immigrants with the Department of Homeland Security. And the acting IRS commissioner, her name is Melanie Krause, is saying, I'm not going to do it. She's refusing to participate in that. And guess what? She is planning on resigning. That's according to the Washington Post, saying that she is going to take part in the deferred resignation program that the government is offering to agency employees. By the way, the IRS in the coming days is going to lay off thousands of people. This is some crazy, lawless BS. What happened to the right to privacy in this country? What happened?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here, besides me kissing my mic, we have a bit of insanity here, where obviously we have the IRS agent or the IRS commissioner is leaving because they don't want to deal with the sharing immigration data to authorities, which, by the way, we're going to show you exactly what that is, because because everybody needs to understand this. It's a good step for Donald Trump, and it's a good step for getting rid of a lot of these illegals. We'll be going over a few things here, so without further ado, my friends, here is kind of a woman explaining on what is happening to the IRS and the commissioner, and that they're allowed to share information to the federal government.
IRS reached a deal with Homeland Security officials to share sensitive taxpayer data with federal immigration authorities, marking a departure from the IRS's longstanding policy of maintaining confidentiality. According to the New York Times, a redacted version of the deal states ICE officials can ask the IRS for information about people who have been ordered to leave the United States and are under federal criminal investigation. Fox News reports the Trump administration submitted a memorandum of understanding to a court Monday, outlining a process for ICE to request IRS records in its investigations of criminal immigrants who have not left the United States within 90 days of a judge's final removal order. A Treasury Department official told Fox News the immigrants had already overstayed the removal orders, and the memorandum aims to protect sensitive taxpayer data while allowing law enforcement to pursue criminal violations, adding the Treasury Department is committed to protecting the privacy of law-abiding taxpayers. Immigrant rights groups filed a lawsuit last month to block the IRS from giving data to ICE, calling it a breach of trust which will discourage undocumented immigrants from paying taxes in the future, but a judge declined to issue an emergency order. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Kaylee Carey.
Yeah, so they are pretty much what we would say asking the IRS department to pretty much share any of the tax exemptions or tax information from illegal immigrants, and there is an actual way of doing this, right? And this is not illegal. So what we have here. This is from Grok, pretty much saying, can the federal government ask for IRS tax info? And it says, yes, the federal government can request IRS tax information under certain circumstances. The Internal Revenue Service is a bureau of the U.S. Department of the Treasury, and federal agencies may access tax data when authorized by law. For example, law enforcement and investigations. Agencies like the FBI, DOJ, or Treasury Department can request tax information as part of criminal investigations, such as tax evasion, money laundering, or fraud, typically with a court order or subpoena. Congressional oversight. Congress has the authority to request tax returns or related data for legislative purposes, as outlined in the Internal Revenue Code. This was notably debated during efforts to access presidential tax returns. Administrative purposes. Other federal agencies may access tax info if it's necessary for administering federal government programs, such as Social Security or Medicare eligibility, but this is usually limited and governed by strict privacy rules. That said, access isn't unlimited. The IRS is bound by Section 6103 of the International Revenue Code, which protects taxpayer confidentiality and only allows disclosure under specific legal conditions. Unauthorized sharing is a big no-no, and it can lead to penalties. So short answer, yes, but it has to be justified and follow the rules. So pretty much what it would fall under is law enforcement investigations, which, if they're committing tax evasion, criminal fraud, or, for example, if you're in here the country illegally, stuff like that. So yes, you can ask for tax ask for tax info if you are in the part of the federal government. So that's not really a surprise here. But of course, leave it to the far left, the wokies, the insane people, to cry and moan and bitch about it, right? Because that's obviously what they can only do. They have to complain about this. And the only people that are afraid of this tax info or this stuff being released is if you are here illegally. And it's going to be a very rude awakening for them.
Deal is finished. The IRS just finished striking a deal with the Department of Homeland Security, which means that they will now be sharing confidential data about undocumented migrants who pay taxes, their names, their social security numbers, their address, so that way they could speed up mass deportations. And remember, they just got the go-ahead yesterday because the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the administration to speed up mass deportations under the Aliens and Enemies Act. And this comes today as the administration announced that there would be a $998 fee for every single undocumented migrant who does not deport themselves, which means that a single undocumented migrant could get up to $1 million in American debt due to that. And then on top of that, again, the president announced today that he wants to drone strike Mexico in terms of wanting to seek drug cartels, and Mexico has already pushed against that.
So the IRS today has agreed to turn over tax documents of migrants to ICE. This is absolutely insane and something that has been fought for a while now. And so this is huge that this is coming out. Migrants pay billions of dollars a year in taxes. And if you think they are going to continue to pay taxes that support all of us, when they know that their documentation for something totally separate is going to be handed over to authorities that want to physically remove them and put them into concentration camps, you got another thing coming. This is the weaponization of documents in the United States. If you hand something over in good faith to the federal government, that should be reciprocated. These people are not illegal. What they did is not a criminal offense. So to be going through their tax documents and so much more, and now forcing them to carry documentation on them all the time, just like they did in Germany, is absolutely insane.
The IRS is now going to share immigrants' information with ICE. Bitch. And isn't that proving that immigrants are paying taxes? Bitch. They shouldn't be. I wouldn't. If I were them, bitch, I would stop immediately. What the fuck? What do you mean? All of this shit. It's acting like these people are not contributing anything to the goddamn country, but yet here they are paying taxes, and they don't even get all of the benefits of the taxes. Yet they still do them. And then the IRS is going to give ICE all of their information to help facilitate the deportations. Bitch, what the actual evil fuck? What the evil, nasty, disgusting, crazy, scary fuck?
I don't think anybody disagrees with that. 7 million means that they're not just going after criminals.
Well, they're going after people who are in the country illegally, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the criminals. This is a much bigger universe.
Doesn't that make you a criminal?
No, it doesn't.
To come across the border illegally?
Coming into the country illegally is a civil offense. It's not a criminal offense.
Okay, if you come into the country illegally, here's the message. We're going to find you and send you back. I mean, I'm sorry, that's the way it is. And I think the government should pull all the levers at its disposal to find people and pull this off. It's what the American people asked Donald Trump to do. Yes, they should be deporting violent people. Yes, they should be deporting people who committed violent acts before they came here. But at some juncture, if you're going to allow any illegal immigration at all, the message then goes out. Just get here. It'll probably work out for you. That was the last administration. This is a different one.
So yeah, you have people that are quite obviously that they're the ones that are going out and doing this type of stuff, right? Where they're saying like, oh, well, you can't do this, it's illegal or whatever. And it's like, well, they've been paying stuff for like, it's like you could be paying taxes and all this stuff, right? But it doesn't mean, if you're just paying taxes, doesn't mean you're not here illegally. So even if you're doing all the things under the correct amount of the law, right? And you're not going out and murdering people, you're not doing all this other stuff or what have you, and you're just here illegally, well, you're here illegally. It doesn't matter if you're paying taxes or not. you're here illegally, so you have to be removed. It's really that simple. I'm not quite sure what these people are doing. And they're saying, like, oh, they're going after the drug cartels. Like, that's a problem. Like, what are we doing here? Of course we're going after drug cartels. You know how many people are dying to drugs or fentanyl in a year? It's like in the almost the hundreds of thousands. So, yeah, we're going to go after the drug cartels that are obviously a huge problem in our country, and we have to deal with them. And this guy's saying, oh, don't go after the drug cartels. That's insanity to me. That makes no sense whatsoever. So I don't. It's like that person's out of his rocker. But again, we have this here with CNN. It says acting IRS commissioner resigning after agency reaches data sharing deal with immigration authorities. And as I said before, this is allowed. All right, so this is not like something. This is not illegal. This is illegal to do. You can ask people for their taxpayer information for three things mostly. So it's not like it's crazy, right? So it says IRS boss to quit over Trump's orders to share private tax data of millions of Americans with DHS. It goes on to say here, the acting boss of the Revenue Service is expected to resign after the Trump administration ordered the department hand over the tax data of undocumented migrants. Department of Homeland Security officials requested the tax agency hand over the names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses of up to 7 million people it claims in the U.S. illegally, so it can find and deport them. The IRS has for decades assured undocumented migrants, which contribute tens of billions of dollars in tax revenue every year, they are safe to file their tax returns without fear of being deported. But now, acting IRS Commissioner Melanie Cross has indicated she will participate in the Trump administration's deferred resignation program in order to step down from her post, the Washington reporters. So this lady here is pretty much saying, no, I do not want to give out information to criminals that would help save the country and get rid of people that are harming our people. That's pretty much what this woman is saying. This is going back to going. Every woman is a leftist or far leftist or insane person, and they only go off of feelings and don't have to go off of anything else. That is my problem here. Now I'm going to push this away, but you guys do as you will with that information I give you. She is the third leader of the agency since Trump's inauguration and will reportedly leave her role on April 28th, the Wall Street Journal reported. So that is about 18 days from now. She's no longer feels like she's in a position where she can impact the decision-making that's happening, the source said, and she believes that some of the decisions that are being made now are things the IRS can never recover from. Well, I don't care, because the IRS is a very bad organization, in my opinion. I don't think they're good. I think they're corrupt. I think they're bad. They go after hardworking people instead of, the billionaires. I mean, they do go after the billionaires, but the billionaires are able to find and pay ways to get past the IRS system and taxes anyways. So and there's not that many of them in the first place. So the only other people you have to go after are the middle class and the hardworking Americans, and that's how you're going to do it. So I really do not like the IRS. I do not like taxes. I think they're terrible, and it's stupid. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem allegedly went over the top of Cross to sign a deal which would allow immigration authorities to access they sought. Cross was reportedly not involved in any such discussions and learned of the deal through the press. Internal IRS lawyers allegedly warned that the deal would likely breach privacy laws. It does not breach privacy laws because, as we said before, it is legal to do so, to ask for the stuff if you're under investigation or you've done criminal stuff. This is not that hard to understand here. Handing over such data would be a dramatic escalation in Trump's attempts to use the IRS to aid in reporting millions of migrants he maintains are in the country illegally. Yes, it would be, and we're all here for it. We wanted this to happen. We do not want illegals in our country anymore. DHS originally asked for the personal details of 700,000 people in February, but was shut down by Acting Commissioner Doug O'Donnell, who insisted it would be illegal to grant the request. However, O'Donnell retired the next day, and his acting replacement Cross appeared more amenable to working with DHS. O'Donnell's departure came just a month after Danny Werfel, who had led the Biden department after being nominated and confirmed by then President Joe Biden. He quit on Inauguration Day. So, yeah, what we have here is the is Donald Trump doing his job, keeping his promise to the American people, and saying we are removing these people, whether they're like it or not. We're pulling all the stops, we're pulling all the levers, and these people are getting deported because they are here illegally and they shouldn't be here. If you want to come into our country, you come in here legally, not illegally, and that is the message that we are sitting here. And anybody else that is crying and complaining, oh, it's so bad, they're going after cartels. Oh, they're going after the immigrants that are paying taxes. Yeah, and if they're here illegally, they get kicked. So again, if they're not here illegally and they just give off their information or what have you, then guess what? It's fine. Then you're not going to be removed. You're not going to be deported. It's not a big deal. But if you're here illegally, you're going bye-bye. You're being kicked, all right? Bye-bye. See you later. So I have no sympathy for these people, and the people that are defending the criminals, defending drug cartels of all things, is insanity to me, and it's crazy. But that's it for the video, guys. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends, and I hope you have a great day.